Just a quick reminder, I have sculptures for sale over on my website. If you're interested in owning any of my sculptures, just head on over there. Let's get to the video. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Long time no see, yes I know. Today we'll be working on the Dilo Dog, because yes, I'm working with Mr. Mosasaur yet again. So this Dilo Dog looks deformed and, yes, I get the anatomy's all off. It's supposed to be. It was originally made as a joke, I believe, on Mr. Mosasaur's channel. I'm not sure if a fan made it or if he made it up himself. But either way, it's a running thing that has just stayed. Whether Mr. Mosasaur likes it or not, the Dilo Dog is here to stay. And I wanted to make a sculpture to represent this amazing creature that brings a lot of joy in a lot of his streams. Now this sculpture will be up for grabs in a contest held on Mr. Mosasaur's Discord, I believe, and his YouTube videos. I don't know how he's running the competition. I know it's pretty big, but yes, keep an eye on his Discord and his YouTube for information on how to win this guy. So let's get right into what I'm doing. So I'm using Super Sculpey or polymer clay to sculpt out the muscle tones and whatnot. I've used wire as the armature and sort of skeletal bits of the creature. So you can see I've sort of roughly placed muscles around, and I'm keep on placing him in the reference picture on the background to measure things up, make sure it's all in shape and size, and then I blend it all together. And then when I come in with my scaling tools, which is just a wooden pointy tool, I rough in all the scales, and then I come over with clay softener to make it all a bit softer looking and a bit nicer. So while we're watching this, a little update on where I have been. Most of yous know, most of yous are aware why my channel is very, very quiet. It's been 2 months, I believe, since I posted a video. My bad. But yes, I had surgery last year. The surgery was a massive success to the point where I'm actually able to follow my dream of becoming a pilot, and that's what I've been doing. That's what's been taking up all my time. I pretty much work and study at the moment. That's all I do, work and study. But yes, I'm loving life. I'm very close to getting my first level of license for pilot. I'm already booked in to start aerobatics training very soon, which I'm extremely excited about, because yes, I want to be an aerobatics pilot for air shows and joy flights and whatnot. So yes, I'm very excited, but that's where I am. That's where all my time is gone. I am still working on sculptures, like I am currently working with Simo again, and we're working on a piece that he will have up for a prize very soon. But yes, I am still working on art in my spare time, but videos have been put on the back burner, which means I have a backlog of videos to do. Yeah. And a couple of people have asked about my audiobook that I've been writing. That's back burner as well. At the moment, I'm really, really sorry, guys. But yeah, YouTube's just a side hobby for me, and at the moment my focus is all on my studies for being a pilot, because that's where I want to head with my life, and I'm very, very grateful that I can actually do it, because it was taken away from me for a long time, and I'm now healed and can become a pilot. So let's get back to the video. So you can see here I've used tin foil to bulk out a shape, and now I've put polymer clay over the whole lot, and I'm bulking out a rock shape, because I'm not going to use a wooden box for the base this time. I'm just going to use a rock base, well, a sculpted base, to keep it all small and nice looking. I do like my wooden bases, but I just felt not for this one. So you can see I'm measuring everything up, and I'm poking the wire legs of this Dilo Dog into the base to make sure it all fits, and to get those sort of peg holes in place before I bake the rock. So you can see I'm using bacon bond to glue down the next layer of polymer clay, because I've already baked the body. So that body that's a more orangey brown has actually already been baked. So I do part bakes all the way through my sculptures. So now I'm just beginning the legs. You can see that wooden tool there that I just used, that I used to scrape my scales in as well. Back to the rock, I'm using different textures and different tools to bring in sort of rock shapes. And you can see I've got a reference on my phone of a rock, because references are very, very important. Even when it's something as simple as a rock, references are so important. And you'll you'll see I'll come in with tinfoil now, and I'll just scratch that in all over the polymer clay before I bake it, because this gives a lovely quick easy way of giving a rock texture. I also use it on my earth tones because it's just a very quick and easy way of giving a natural look. And you can see I did have a box there at one point. I was planning on putting this guy in a box, but the box looked too big compared to the sculpture. It just was going to be uneven and not really work. And that's my signature there, just implanting it into the sculpture, so I have signed my piece now. Last check to make sure everything is standing in, then I'll bake the rock. Oh yep, and I'm brushing over a clay softener at the moment, so this will just soften down all the textures and make it look a bit neater, and get rid of any fingerprints that I may have left. You can see I just measured up the polymer clay there for the head, and now I'm working on the head, yeah. So I'm constantly checking back on my reference here. It's a little sad that the reference isn't directly straight on, but it was enough for this piece. And that's my lovely bird in the background you can hear there. I have no idea what he's doing, but he's squeaking away in his cage. So yes, you can see I'm bulking out the neck there, and at this point I'm sort of looking at this piece and it's really hurting my head because my brain is going, this anatomy is all off, it's not making sense. But then I keep looking at the reference and I'm like, it's not meant to make sense. The anatomy is supposed to be off. But yes, he was playing with my head because I kept wanting to fix the front legs and the neck. But I can't because that's not the Dilo Dog. So here I'm working more on the shape of the face, trying to get the same sort of shape going that the reference has. And also adding a bit more of a muscle tone happening. Because I've got to bring this 2D image into a 3D world. Now I'm working on the crest, and I'll use bacon bond to sort of stick it down. So I think I did about 6 bakes with this guy. So this was 6 separate bakes for this guy before I got to the painting stage. So yes, never be afraid to keep doing part bakes for your sculptures. It's not going to hurt them to re-put that baked piece into the oven. And yes, I know mine looks a little burnt. I'm still figuring out my oven. When I moved, I had to get a new oven, and it's a cheaper oven because I am a broke student at the moment, and it's fickled to work with. But here I am working on the feet. You can see that the piece is all mostly baked in the oven and all set, so I'm just working on the last 2 feet. And I'm using bacon bond glue to roll out, to stick the claws into the feet and give it a bit of bond. It helps make them a little less delicate. They're still delicate because they're thin little spikes sticking off parts of the body, but the bacon bond gives a little more strength. If they were more protruding in areas that were going to be vulnerable to knocking, I would probably make them from either plastimorph, which is a moldable plastic, or cosclay, which is a bendable polymer clay. But in this case, they're not really at risk of being knocked because they're all sort of protected, so I'm pretty safe in using polymer clay for this. That's 1 foot sculpted, one last one to go. And there we go, he's all baked, and we've started painting. So here I've picked out the lightest colour that I could see on the reference. It only shows up on a few small parts of the reference, but I can see that it's a nice undertone to start with. So now I'm just brushing it in very, very roughly to give that undertone a start. Now I'm coming in with a dark tone. Of course, these are all Citadel paints. I love my Citadel paints. Yes, I'm coming in with a more burnt sort of cream, or orangey sort of cream. I'm very rough with my colours, because I like... It's the way I paint, I guess. Now I'm coming with the grey. This is about the only paint that is not a Citadel paint. This will be a Hallcraft grey, only because I have a lot of this Hallcraft grey and I don't have to be too particular with my rocks because they're pretty easy to get looking like a rock. Now I'm coming in with a Citadel green. This is my first shade of green, and eventually I'll come in with some more bluer greens to get that bluey green tone the reference has going. And you can see I'm sort of dry brushing the edges of where the green touches the cream, just to give it a more natural, not direct, straight, harsh line, a more faded line. For those of you wondering if I will ever open for commissions, yes, I am currently open for commissions. You can head to my website, I'll link down below, and just hit me up with an email for a quote. Make sure you read the TOS before you send an email asking for a quote, just so you make sure you send me the right information and you're aware of how commission works. But yes, I am open for all sizes of commissions. If you're interested, hit me up. So you can see I've come in with a darker green just here, and now I've started the black. So the black I have to be a lot more careful with, because if I get it into areas where it shouldn't be, it's very hard to cover up, because a lot of colours don't cover up black very easy. Now I'm coming in with a really, really dark green and adding all those spots and different textures. Starting to look like the Dilo Dog. Now I'm starting on the eyes with a nice yellow. This is where I'm getting really, really close to done. You can see the teeth are all done. I'll have to come in with a wash soon. But for now, it's just the eyes and making sure those pupils line up. You can see I'm spinning it back and forth just to make sure the eyes are even and not looking too skew-if. Now I'm coming in with my favourite part, the wash. It goes on so dark and looks terrible, but when it dries it brings out all that texture that you've worked so hard to sculpt into the piece. I love my washes. It's a really quick and easy way to amp up the level of your sculpture. Highly recommend washes. If you can't afford a Citadel wash, just water down a little bit of darker paint or a darker colour of tone that you're using on your sculpture, and that is a wash. I just don't make my own washes because Citadel does such a good job. So this is a moss that Hikijin Creations sent me from Hungary. I'm pretty intrigued to use it. I found it was pretty good. It has like a nice texture to it, but I ended up adding a little bit of my own mossy kind of scenery moss to it as well, and together they added a really nice look combined. So I'm definitely going to use them in combination in future. So you can see I'm using some Mod Podge now. I'm just dabbing it into those areas that I added with that moss greeny effect, and I'll be sprinkling on my own moss effect. So now I'm coming with my Liquitex High Gloss Varnish, and I'm going over the claws, the eyes and the teeth. I know claws are not necessarily shiny, but I like the eyes to sort of see the different texture as they run over the piece, and adding a gloss to the claws adds that extra texture. And here I am adding some felt to the bottom of the sculpture, just so it grips onto whatever it's being displayed on a bit better and looks a bit more fancier. And here we are all done. This is the Dilo Dog. So I look forward to seeing how this guy gets won, and I will be sending it off to whoever wins it. It's not currently up for grabs yet, but it will be soon, so please keep an eye on Mr. Mosasaur's stuff. He's got something big planned for it. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in another video again very soon, but we'll see. Very strapped for time at the moment, but I am currently editing another video at the moment as well. And hopefully I'll have Simo's video up very soon as well. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!